Okay, so today, kitchen scientist Dan Kohler is here exploring the difference between white and dark meat. He's got some surprising health benefits for you. So I thought you were just going to say you want a dark breast or a thigh, but you brought people with you there. I mean, you brought, wow, there you go. And there it is.
We're going to start with that. So everybody serve yourselves. We've got white and dark meat here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Family meal today.
What is the difference, Dan, between white and dark?
Simply put,
So much.
we're looking at the difference between fast twitch and slow twitch muscle. Now, we can see that exhibited in the human body when we look at the difference between a sprinter's body and a marathon runner's body. We can all visualize that, right? So a sprinter has massive thighs because they need energy instantly for a short period of time.
Right.
A marathon runner has very lean muscle. They need a lot of energy for a long period of time. So when we're talking about that in muscle tissue, fast twitch muscle is white meat. Slow twitch muscle is dark meat.
Is dark meat not good for you?
Dark meat's great for you.
You just have to eat it slow.
So a lot of people get mixed up. We think that white meat is the healthiest, especially when we're getting chicken. Has everyone picked what?
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
mostly
I have
white
dark-
meat eaters here.
I
Do we have
am
dark
eating
meat?
I do both. But
I have dark.
So a lot of people say that, well, I'm only going to eat white meat because it's healthier. The truth is, especially in a chicken, sure, the white breast meat has lower fat.
This is tasty.
But we're not talking astronomically lower. The thigh meat doesn't have a lot less fat. But what you're missing out there are the vitamins and minerals. And we'll talk about that now. So what changes the meat's color is something called myoglobin. Now, myoglobin is a protein that is responsible for processing oxygen in the muscles. And it adds pigmentation to it. Myoglobin is dark, and it also produces mitochondria, which is dark brown. Those change the color of the meat. Now, when you're using muscle for a long, sustained period of time, you need a lot of oxygen and a lot of blood flow. So slow twitch muscles tend to be those muscles that we're standing on, the muscles that we're in constant use. So when we look at a chicken here, that's why the lower half of the chicken, this is dark meat, right? These muscles are in constant use. They're standing on them all the time. Fast twitch muscles that we're only using briefly, short bursts of energy. Chickens are flightless birds, right? So those wings are not doing much. So they're doing very quick motions. That's why we have a lot of white meat up here. Now, why is there no pigmentation in white meat? There's no myoglobin. These muscles rely on something called glycogen. Glycogen is a different muscle fuel. Now, chicken we know. White meat, dark meat, we also know turkeys have that. Let's move on down. Let's talk about rabbit. This is an animal.
It's Thumper.
Oh, now let's not go there.
This is an animal that is fueled almost entirely by glycogen, and you can see it's nearly all white meat. And why is that? Rabbits are sprinters, right? We talked about the difference between a sprinter's body and a marathon runner's body earlier. Rabbits are sprinters. They sit on their hindquarters, they're not using any of their muscles, and then all of a sudden, they go. So these are glycogen-fueled muscles. On the other end of the spectrum, we have ducks
Oh, no.
and other game birds. Now see, ducks use their muscles constantly with a low amount of energy over a long period of time, right? So they're flying all the time, they're migrating. So these muscles are in constant use. And that means there's lots of oxygen flowing through them, there's lots of blood flowing through there. And consequently, all duck meat, all goose meat, it's all dark meat, as opposed to a chicken, which has breast meat that's white, because their wings are functional over here. Now we should talk about other animals too, right? So fish.
Yep.
Fish are buoyant, right? They're floating in water. They're not using muscles to stand up. That's why most fish is white meat, because they're floating, and then all of a sudden they need one burst of energy to move. So that's all fast twitch muscle.
What about flying fish?
Mark. Mark.
But what about the temperature at which the fish survive? Like Arctic fish? Don't they have a fattier layer?
They do have a fatty. They have different fatty layers between the skin and the muscle meat. Now, the pigmentation that we see in some fish, so we're talking salmon and tuna, some of that comes from their diet. Some of that pigmentation comes from the crustaceans that they eat. But those two fish are also fish that regularly swim against the current, which means, like ducks, they are constantly using those muscles and constantly pushing, and that develops myoglobin-fueled muscle tissue.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about the rest of the animal world, we're looking at cows and pig, pig frequently referred to the other white meat, yes?
Right.
Pig is actually quite high in myoglobin. It is actually red meat. One of the reasons we see it as white meat, and it's similar in color to this rabbit over here, one of the reasons we see that is because a lot of the pig that we eat is from young animals. So the muscle tissue isn't fully developed yet, but it is actually still red meat, and that's something that people might want to know. But when we talk about the health benefits, like I said earlier, we're talking this is leaner, but the dark meat, because it's got all of that oxygen, all of that blood flowing through it. Dr. JJ, blood means zinc, blood means iron.
Iron, exactly. So it's more nutritious from that standpoint, especially if you are anemic.
Exactly. All of a sudden, so when we aim for the white meat in chicken, we're losing some of those vitamins and minerals.
Well, with cows, is the veal, is that the same thing, philosophy with the veal doesn't move, so it's a whiter meat than the cow, which is a red.
They're developing much less myoglobin fuel. They're also not using their muscles, so those are
Exactly.
undeveloped muscles,
Right.
and that's a slightly different issue. But if you're looking for a very lean meat, the truth is, of the three here, rabbit, hands down, has the highest protein, the lowest calories, the lowest fat, and is so sustainable, and it was wildly popular around World War II in America.
And it's delicious.
It's delicious.
And you get a keychain.
Only if you're butchering it at home, which I highly recommend.
Thank you.
Really? Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, okay.
Thank
I
you.
eat
This
the
is
chicken.
really wonderful. Good stuff. Will you eat the
Christina.
I like the chicken.
more information on Renegade Kitchen? Sorry. Wow. RenegadeKitchen.com. I'll spit it out. I said Renegade
And
Chicken.
also our website too.
Our website too. We coming back. Sophie's turn.
Yes, have you got the guts to be healthy? When we come back, I'm going to be showing you how to get your gut in tip-top condition.